Okay. See, before we get into the details, I just want to kind of spend a couple of minutes on a very important aspect of how the market is moving, right? And it is not just limited to finance and accounting, but the overall job market. I'm sure you would have seen or heard about, the latest trend of artificial intelligence, then ML, then automation, right? There are a lot of tools that have kind of come into the market which are making life very easy for people who really want to use them properly, right? So any so basically all functions including finance and accounting, they are kind of impacted by new technology, right? So next few years technology is going to play a big role in terms of shaping up this particular job market, right? uh, Especially in India, what's happening is that there is a rise of global capability centers, and that means that a lot of MNCs who have their presence in other countries like in the US, Europe, Australia, Japan, other countries, right? So they have a lot of operations in these countries and also around the world. But what they have been doing in the past few years is they set up their global capability centers in India. And of course, few reasons for that is obviously, that there is a huge supply of talented folks like all of you, right, in India. And the cost is competitive, and it's a kind of a business friendly environment, at least for the last few years, right? So all those things have led to this phenomenon of rise in global capability centers, and this is nothing but having a shared service or a captive support base for these companies in India. So what they do is basically the functions like procurement, functions like finance and accounting, some portion of sales, some portion of technology, which can be grouped under one umbrella. They actually, move those roles to India, right? They may have their base locations in the US or these respective countries, but most of such work, the ones which I talked about, will come to India, right? And of course, finance and accounting is will be the most important piece of the entire thing, right? So to give you a perspective, there are about 1,600 GCCs which are which are present in India, and they employ about 16 lakh people, right? And it's not just finance and accounting, but all functions put together. But it is going to become a significant uh, job provider in the next few years, right? So it's important to understand how they function. Okay, startup boom is something that obviously we all know about, right? And how it is impacting our daily lives. In terms of numbers, I'm sure you know, right? So there are about 15,000 startups which are kind of getting added every year in India, right? And they provide about 1 lakh jobs in the overall scheme of things. So basically, they are a huge, job provider again in India. And if you see around the world, except so like US is a big hub of startups. You have Israel as the other big hub. Then you have India, right? India is in the third or fourth place now in terms of startups, and it is going to go up only from here on, right? So, while of course there's a risk part to it, but there is a huge potential for people who are looking to build their career in finance accounting to look at startups as an alternative, right? Indian economy is going to become very strong. It is on the right path. We all know about it, right? The government has declared that they wanted to become the fifth largest by 2027, right? The growth rate is about 7 to 8%, which all this actually gives us a lot of confidence that companies in India, they're going to do really well, and not just the MNCs that are moving to India, but also the Indian companies, right? There are so many Indian brands like Tata Motors, there's Godrej, there's Reliance, etc. They're really doing very well, right? And one thing is very sure that if companies are doing well, if the economy is doing well, then obviously there'll be big boom in job market, right? It is directly proportionate to the kind of stage that the economy is in, right? So all of this, what does it do? All of this actually has created a lot of demand in terms of jobs. Okay, in India specifically, from a BCom point of view, meaning commerce domain point of view, there are about 18 lakh graduates that pass every year, right? And out of that, so basically there are only about 1.5 lakh students who are kind of employable. And obviously I'll talk about why, and what's the issue there. But in terms of employment, people who are actually job ready, who have that skills to get hired, they are only about 1 to 1.5 lakhs in India. And with the kind of growth that we have seen, we expect that in today's market there is a potential of about 2.5 to 3 lakh jobs in accounting and finance, right? So this is a huge gap. People who are the companies are looking to hire finance and accounting folks, but they can't hire because either the talent is not available or the talent is not enough to meet their demands, right? Which is where we wanted to kind of come in. Okay. So this the entire thing, the trend, the shortfall, etc., gives a lot of confidence that there's a huge demand of finance and accounting jobs in India in the next few years, which is going to go up only. And people really fall short of the skills that are required for them to get these jobs, right? And we'll talk about those skills in the upcoming slides. Okay.